Ever wondered who was the pharaoh that dared to challenge traditional religious beliefs in ancient Egypt? Meet Pharaoh Akhenaten, a ruler whose reign ushered in one of the most significant religious revolutions in Egyptian history. Ascending to the throne in the 13th century BC, Akhenaten's rule stretched for a remarkable 46 years. During these early years of his reign, Akhenaten would make a decision that would forever change the course of Egyptian history. He chose to embrace the Atenite religion, a belief system centered on the worship of the sun god, Aten. This was a radical departure from the polytheistic religion that had dominated Egyptian society for centuries. Akhenaten's adoption of Atenite religion was more than a personal choice. It was a symbol of his boldness, his willingness to challenge the status quo. But Akhenaten's religious revolution was just the beginning. From the bustling city of Tafnis, a new sun city arose. Pharaoh Akhenaten, a visionary in his own right, embarked on the audacious task of constructing a city devoted entirely to the worship of Aten, a city that would later be known as Aten. This was no ordinary city, but a testament to a significant religious revolution, a city built from the ground up, reflecting the pharaoh's devotion to the sun god, Aten. Unique to its time, Aten was not just a city, but a canvas where art and culture flourished. The temples, unlike any other, were architectural marvels. Their slender columns, adorned with patterns of the sun, were a distinct departure from the traditional styles, symbolizing the dawn of a new era. The city was alive with a newfound artistic spirit, reflecting the pharaoh's passion and the people's devotion to Aten. Yet, not everyone was pleased with these drastic changes. With change comes resistance. As Akhenaten embraced Atenism, transforming Egypt's religious landscape, he faced opposition. The traditional priesthood, who had long held sway over spiritual matters, found their power diminishing. The populace too struggled with the shift from polytheism to monotheism. It was a drastic change, and resistance was inevitable. Yet Akhenaten was unyielding. His conviction in Atenism was unwavering. He persisted, despite the opposition. He continued to build the city of Aten, erecting temples to honor the sun god. He pushed forward with religious reforms, redefining the spiritual fabric of Egypt. But this was not a battle easily won. The opposition from the priesthood and the people was relentless. It was a period of tension, of conflict. But Akhenaten remained steadfast, committed to his vision of a society centered around sun worship. But would his legacy survive after his death? In the years that followed Akhenaten's death, the sun began to set on his legacy. His successors, prioritizing their own agendas over the preservation of Atenite tradition, sought to erase the memory of his reign. Temples were dismantled and artifacts associated with sun worship were left to decay. Yet, like the sun that rises after the darkest night, Akhenaten's legacy would not be extinguished. Fast forward to the present day, and we find ourselves in an era of rediscovery. Modern archaeologists, armed with the tools of science and a thirst for understanding, have brought Akhenaten's rule back into the limelight. Temples have been unearthed, inscriptions deciphered, and statues restored, each piece of the puzzle adding to our understanding of this fascinating ruler. This rediscovery has led to a renewed appreciation for the richness of Akhenaten's era, its impact on art, culture, and religion. Pharaoh Akhenaten's legacy was not one to be buried in the sands of time. Despite the attempts to erase his legacy, Akhenaten's impact on Egyptian history is undeniable. His reign marked an era of cultural renaissance, a flourishing of arts and culture that has left an indelible imprint on the annals of time. His daring religious revolution, centered on sun worship, was a distinct departure from the norm, and it forever changed the religious landscape of ancient Egypt. The city of Aten, built under his rule, stands testament to this change. Moreover, Akhenaten was not just a religious reformer. His reign was also characterized by significant political and economic reforms. He established a stable political structure and a thriving economy, creating a secure environment that allowed art and culture to flourish. His successful military campaigns in Syria and Nubia further attest to his administrative acumen. Pharaoh Akhenaten, a ruler who dared to be different, left a lasting mark on the sands of ancient Egypt.